Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Old Man and the Read. My name is Jerry. Well, since I bought a new camera and decided to continue with my channel for a while longer, I decided that I'm going to go back to when I began my channel a couple of years ago, where I started talking about literary award winning books that I read. And when I went to present them, I just became so overwhelmed by the number of books I had. I really didn't say anything about the books themselves. I just showed them. And I've always had the intention of going back and then just doing, uh, like today, I'm going to do 20 of the first winners of the Pulitzer Prize. Uh, and I'll do these types of videos periodically, just to give me something to do on my channel, basically. So anyway, so like I said, this will be the first 20 books that won the Pulitzer Prize from 1918 to 1938. So with that, I guess I'll start showing you the books. The first winner in 1918 was His Family by Ernest Poole. This is a story of a 60-plus-year-old man and his three very different adult daughters. Each of the daughters has a very distinct personality. The first one is more maternal. The second is devoted to social movements. And the third is living a carefree, happy existence. In 1919, the winner was The Magnificent Ambersons by Booth Tarkington. Really a great book, extremely well written, but it's a story about a wealthy, spoiled kid who grows up to be a very arrogant adult. And this continues until he eventually has his downfall when his inheritance dries up. There was no winner in 1920, so the 1921 winner was The Age of Innocence by Edith Wharton. This is a story about a married woman who has separated from her husband and a young man who is engaged to be married. The two of them meet and fall in love, but alas, it's not a love to be. In 1922, the winner was Alice Adams by Booth Tarkington, another really well-written book by Tarkington. This is a story of a middle-class family whose daughter wants to be accepted into the upper class. 1923, the winner was One of Ours by Willa Cather. This is the story of a young man who grows up on a farm in Nebraska, but he's fated to some very unfortunate things in his life, beginning with a tragic marriage and then going to war in World War I. The 1924 winner was The Able McLaughlins by Margaret Wilson, the story of a Civil War soldier who has returned to find that his girlfriend is pregnant by another man. But in spite of that, he wants to preserve her dignity, so he marries her. In 1925, the winner was So Big by Edna Ferber. Extremely good book. This follows Selena and her not so remarkable son Dirk. And Dirk is also known as So Big. But the story begins with Selena's childhood and about her life with her gambling father. and then it just continues on into adulthood, and her eventually becoming a vegetable farmer. In 1926, the winner was Aerosmith by Sinclair Lewis. This is a story set in the first decades of the 20th century, and it is a story of a man who goes to medical school and becomes a country doctor, and then eventually becomes a scientist in bacteriology. 1927 winner was Early Autumn by Louis Bromfield. This is a story of a wealthy New England family who can trace their family back to Revolutionary times. 1928, the winner was The Bridge of San Luis Rey by Thornton Wilder. This followed a story. It's about 5 people who die when the bridge over the San Luis Rey collapses. This event is seen by a monk, and he wonders why it was those 5 people that died. And he thinks that God must have had a reason, so he decides to investigate the lives of each of those people. The winner in 1929 was Scarlet Sister Mary by Julia Peterkin. This is set in South Carolina, and it's a story about a former slave following the emancipation of slaves, and it just follows her through her life. 1930, the winner was Laughing Boy by Oliver Lafarge. This is a story of a love story between a Navajo man and a Navajo woman, but she had been raised by a white family. But the story's written from the young man's perspective, and it exposes the clash of the cultures between each of them because of their different cultural upbringings. 1931, the winner was Years of Grace by Margaret Ayer Barnes. This follows the life of Jane Ward, who comes from an upper-class family, and it follows her from her teen years to becoming a Bryn Mawr student, and then on to becoming a mother and eventually a grandmother. The 1932 winner was The Good Earth by Pearl S. Buck. This is about a very poor, hard-working peasant who, through many tribulations, eventually becomes a wealthy man. 1933, the winner was The Store by T.S. Stribling. This is a story full of just very unlikable characters, and in particular, the main protagonist, Colonel Vaden. He's a former Confederate officer who is destitute now, but comes into money by swindling a friend. The winner in 1934 is Lamb in His Bosom by Carolyn Miller. And this follows the life of a very strong woman named Sen, and she's living in the backwoods of Georgia in the years following the Civil War. She faces many hardships, but she perseveres in the face of it all. Just a beautifully written book, though. In 1935, the winner was Now in November by Josephine Winslow Johnson. And this is a story of a down-and-out family that becomes farmers because of the Depression, but then they go on to have to suffer through the Dust Bowl. The winner in 1936 was Honey in the Horn by Harold L. Davis. And this is a historic novel about the early settlers in Oregon. It follows several different characters, and it goes from one settlement to another. The winner in 1937 was Gone with the Wind by Margaret Mitchell. This is a story set in Georgia during the Civil War and the Reconstruction era. It's told from the slave owners' point of view. It tells of the brutality and the tragedy of the war while it glosses over the treatment of the slaves. And the last book I have, the winner in 1938, is The Late George Apley by John Philip Marquard. Just a brilliant... at first I thought this was like a dry biography, but then as I went along I realized it's just a brilliant satire. But this follows George Apley. He was a Boston blue blood who fully believed that he deserved everything he had. And the story is told by inserting numerous letters that he has written, but the best ones are really the ones he's written to his son. So those are the first 20 winners of the Pulitzer Prize from 1918 to 1938. So I want to thank you for watching the video, and maybe I'll see you on another. Thank you.